I'm scolding you before we get the show started because everybody know we had a glitch yesterday.
What was that?
Somebody didn't allow, the content creator, mastermind behind this Dolly, probably scolded you after we got off and said, you can't start a show until the bell rings, and somebody skipped out.
Oh, I see how it goes around here. Everything is my fault.
Well, I mean, you put your name on this thing too, DK. If I blame you first, that means you must be in trouble, right?
You know we're live, right?
I know. I mean, I figured that. We'll treat this how we need to, man. How are you, DK? I need to know how everybody else is too, because it is hump day today.
It is?
Yeah, it is hump day.
Because that didn't sound like it to me.
Well, it's hump day.
Now it sounds like it. Where's the damn bell?
There it is. Here we go.
You know the best thing about the Ramon intro?
What's that?
About halfway through it, there's a Who is that in your mind who's getting
Man, it depends on the day.
Geno Atkins?
It may be, man.
You flattened Calais Campbell, that's him going
You know what? That's a tall man to get on the ground. You hear me, man? God, what a tall dude.
Long way to fall. Big impact once he makes it.
Yeah, 100%, man. By the way, man, I'm saying we're just starting to show new members and everything, man. Much appreciated to y'all. I'm also getting the alerts when the show starts now, too, DK.
Yeah, that's nice, too. There's a lot of different things that come with being just on YouTube. If you were watching us previously, if you're one of the very few who was watching us previously on Facebook, Twitch, or whatever else, welcome to YouTube. Because that's where we are.
Yeah.
Because it works.
Yes, it does, man. Whew, love it, man. You guys are awesome. But yeah, I get the alerts now. So everybody's in here and we're ready to roll. Shout out to the new members, old members, just the loyalists that come check us out, DK. Can't say that enough.
Yeah, we recognize a lot of the names that come in. They're always appreciated. My man, Brian Ferber, here is a new member on YouTube. He's been a subscriber to DK Pittsburgh Sports, meaning our website. I just have to say before we get going today, there's some confusion between what constitutes a subscription and a member. And what is a member on our website on DK Pittsburgh Sports, and what's a member on this show? I'm going to give this a really, really quick shot. All right?
Yeah, go ahead. Let's rock with it.
Okay. On YouTube, you have to – this is just YouTube. It has nothing to do with DK Pittsburgh Sports, just YouTube. You have to have a subscription before you can become a member. So you hit subscribe, which costs you nothing. Member, which is 99 cents a month. You get all these fun emojis and everything else, okay? DK Pittsburgh Sports stuff, totally separate. Media company, reporters flying all over the country. It's just a separate thing. One has nothing to do with the other. I hope that helps because there have been some people including like, I've been a subscriber. I've been reading your stuff for years, and now I got to pay. Now you don't have to pay anything.
Yeah, for sure. We appreciate it, man, too. DK, we'll say it again. I'll say it now. We have a special guest coming on tomorrow also, man.
Very, very special guest.
He did hop on with us yesterday, man, live, and he was like, man, you and DK do a good job. I was like, hey, take the surprise out your voice, okay? This is what we do, right? This is what we do, DK.
I miss Rosie, and I miss more than any the thing that I miss most about Rosie Nix.
What's that?
Is how beloved he was in the locker room. It's a different vibe when people talked about Rosie because there's nothing in football that'll get you respect within your peers more than putting your body on. You knew I was going to say that. Putting your body on the line.
Yep.
Rosie did that on special teams. He did it at fullback. There's a reason that when Ben would find a way to get him the ball or he'd get a touchdown, you would see Ben would be the most excited guy on the field.
Yeah. And what's so crazy, him and Ben's relationship is unique too. I'll just call it that. And truthfully, I don't know how deep their relationship is as far as their communication, but I know Ben did endear Rosie. I do know they're both from Ohio. They're both small school guys. Like, they have an appreciation. They're MAC guys, right? MAC, what is it, Mountain Atlantic? What's the Mid-Atlantic Conference? The MAC.
MAC. It's just the MAC.
It's the MAC. The MAC, man. They're both MAC conference guys. And let me tell you this, those dudes are prideful. God, the MAC players are super prideful. So, yes, it's Roosevelt Nix. I saw somebody put Vince on here. Vince, we already did his interview. If you want to go check it out, it's a can't miss. Right, DK? Is that how you would kind of say that one?
There were 10,000 people who would agree with that.
That is a real good interview. He said some stuff in there I didn't even realize. He opened up a lot of stuff, which is very interesting because it's funny. You said Rosie, with his time that he did media with you guys, he was what was short. He like?
Just short. He was like I said, he was completely professional.
Yeah.
Win or loss, he would stand up. He'd be there at his stall, and I'd go over to the 45 stall after a tough game, and he'd be there ready to answer whatever question it was. But his answers were, I think it was just there's so much modesty to him.
It is
that he didn't think that what he had to say mattered all that much. You can ask him about this. Okay?
Man, I will. What a dude, though, man. So Rosie's coming on. He's looking forward to it, too. So anytime I have some of my teammates on him, it's not really just, do you call it an interview, DK? What do you call it? More of a conversation?
Well, it's your show. You can call it what you want.
I'm going to call it a conversation.
I know that the viewer response, in particular back when you had Kevin Colbert on.
Kev.
What people loved more than anything was that, okay, I can interview Kevin Colbert. Okay, a journalist can interview. You were talking with him. Okay, that's different. I can't do that. Okay, yeah. I wasn't in the man's employ. I wasn't, trying to win him a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
it's a different vibe.
Yeah, it's super unique. So you'll get an opportunity, man, to see how we really operate as teammates a little bit, to kind of see the conversation. It'll be clean. It won't be any craziness, anything like that. But Rosie and I are real close. One, because he's an undrafted guy. He was my day one, as I like to call it. You're going to hear me say that a lot because, like, seeing Rosie in camp, like, I was like, Rosie's going to make it. He going to be the one of my guys. And it's always kind of been that way. Rob Golden was another one of my dudes, man, who's a very interesting guy. I have to get him on here at some point. And I'll tell you guys this too. I know everybody wants the Bens. Everybody wants the Hines Wars and Troys and stuff like that. If they're available, we'll get them. But the conversations that I have with guys like Vince, like Rosie,
you'll learn something. That's no offense to the other guys, but you'll learn.
It's so much depth to those guys. And truthfully, that group of guys I'm speaking of, they have the biggest stories to tell because, one, they're super unique and they can be themselves for the most part. The superstar guys, they really are kind of protected in their conversations sometimes because they're so public and whatnot. So it'll be very interesting.
I'm looking forward to it. We have there's not so much news or anything coming out of the Steelers fold today to discuss, but they put a headline on this on their website, and people do talk about it. They talk about rookie numbers being issued. So I'm going to read some of these out loud, and we can talk about the individual numbers, what it means to these players, but also what it might mean to the main roster because numbers were given away. Okay, Joey Porter Jr. in what is easily going to be the headline out of this group is going to be 24. That's something that's being done, according to Joey Porter Sr., as a tribute to Ike Taylor.
That's awesome.
I don't know what that means for Benny Snell's future. Benny is still unsigned. Benny is a guy who played really well for the Steelers last year, but the Joey and the Ike thing, man, that has too much perfection to it, doesn't it?
Way too much perfection, man. And even though he's not even a first-round draft pick, I got a feeling you're going to see a lot of 24s out there when it comes down to Joey Porter Jr. number, jersey sales and whatnot, man. Speaking of which, there is a video going around. Gosh, DK, you know what? We'll tease that going into the second phase. How about that, man? Because
no. What?
We want to go there? Oh, yeah, golly. It has you in the feels, man.
I think I know what you're going to say here. Is it the Porters?
Joey Porter Sr., Peasy. We'll call him Peasy's conversation with his son, a father and son exchange.
At the draft in Las Vegas,
because he was an invite,
first round. He was an invite out there. He got the suit. Oh my goodness, did he get the suit? And he doesn't get drafted. and it's Joey Sr. You got to find it, okay?
Oh
or
my
if somebody
gosh.
wants to put a URL up to it here from the community, we can go ahead and put it up as well. But I'm not going to show the video, but we can put up the link to it so you guys can find it. But they have a really intensive conversation, mostly Joey Sr., using it as motivation.
Yeah.
Telling him, use it now. Now you have that fuel. Now you have that extra fire.
Yeah.
To you. And then Joey Jr. gets so fed up with the whole thing, he says, I'm going home.
Yeah.
So he flies home, and whenever he was asked about why he came home, why he come back to Pittsburgh, he said with a big smile on his face, I'm not wearing the same suit back to
He bought one suit.
He brought one suit.
But
wearing it. You never see me doing that, he said.
No, but it was such a phenomenal exchange of, yes, DB Cooper, this show is live right now. This like that exchange of dad to son was so pure. I don't even know if they realized they were mic'd up, cameras were on them. Like Joey Porter Jr. had tears down his face. And if you know Peasy, his dad, like Joey's an emotional guy too. You see his emotions come out on the field, right?
Just a little.
Just a little bit. But like all I could think was, all I hear in him was, we got to work harder. There's always somebody watching. There's always somebody trying to be in front of you. Prove everybody wrong. And sometimes I know it was me probably too. As a young man, like you'd be looking like, man, I'm doing enough. This is cool. And then you have a moment like that. And I don't even think it was Joey really saying anything like, hey, I told you. I think he just told him like, man, there's moments like this. And we've talked about these moments. Like when I told you, you got to work a little bit harder. This is what I mean. And now you see what I mean. And he told him, he's like, man, just follow me. I've been through some stuff. Follow me and I got you. Not like he gonna let Joey Porter Jr. do his thing, right? He gonna let his son do his thing. But it was more or less like,
I'm here.
Good. You got a scar and we're gonna walk right through this thing. He just told him this is motivation. I was just like, I'm getting chill bumps talking about it now.
Yeah, it was something. I can't recommend it strongly enough.
Ooh.
Rest of the numbers that were give it out, 27 to Corey Trice Jr., the very large other corner who was taken in the 7th round. 6'3".
6'3". Oh, my bad. Ooh.
The tallest corner the Steelers have drafted since Mel Blount, 1970. Nick Herbig is getting 51.
That's a linebacker number in Pittsburgh. I hope it sticks this time.
Yeah, except that 51 that's what Malik Reed was wearing. And anyway.
Well, I'll tell you this time you got a white guy instead of a black guy wearing it, so we'll see the difference there.
Spencer Anderson says 74. Spencer Anderson, who's the other 7th rounder, the offensive lineman, is 74. Broderick Jones will get 77. Marcus Gilbert's old number.
Yeah.
That's a nice O-line number. It's a nice OT number.
Double sevens, baby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Keanu Benton will wear 95. That's Chris Wormley's old number. And again, when I'm saying some of these numbers to you, you hear 51. That was Miles Jack's number. Okay. So does that mean Miles Jack is not going to be back? I don't know. 95, Keanu Benton. Does that mean that Chris Wormley's not going to be back? You would think so. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Darnell Washington, who he openly and somewhat jokingly lobbied to be that zero guy.
Yeah.
Now that and he's going to get 80 because I'm going to presume that the head coach will have none of that.
When he sent that tweet out asking, can I be the first player to wear 0? I'm guaranteeing Coach Tomlin looked at that tweet if somebody showed him with those big eyes. It was like, I dare you try to wear 0 on the squad that I have. This ain't your college days, and I'm not recruiting you. I'm paying you now. You're going to wear a tight end number.
DB Cooper says, is this the live show, as Moan mentioned before here? Yeah.
Yes, DB, it is the live show,
We're here to answer the tough questions.
Yeah.
Were numbers a big deal for you?
Heck yeah, it was. Oh, heck yeah, DK. Numbers.
Why? It's so limited. There's only 10 numbers you can get.
You don't want a trash-looking number. You don't want to look trash in your number. Like,
what's that mean?
It's this. Like, me wearing 51 wouldn't have looked right whatsoever. Like, I came out as a tackle in college. A tackle wearing 51, like I wanted a 70s number because to me it looked like they take you serious if you have like a 70 number and you're a tackle. Like I know Dan Moore is 65, right? like that's a doable number too. But like either you want to be the guy that gets the double up number, or you get a 70s number, or you get a real cool looking 60s. Like 50s is meant for centers to me almost. Does that make sense?
It does. Trey Turner wore 51. Sean Manahan says Steelers are the world's team. This is false, Sean. This is false. The Steelers,
How so?
The Steelers are Pittsburgh's team.
Okay,
never, ever forget that. Okay, I said as born and bred, and whatever else here. I get a little bit like goofy about when somebody, it's the nation. No, this is the city of Pittsburgh's football team. Anybody has a problem with that? Come and see us.
Oh wow, that's my first time hearing you say this, DK.
Oh, I'm a big believer in that. You never heard the story?
No, I've never heard you say this.
Listen to this. You guys are going to like this one. Dave Wanstead, former Pitt coach, former Bears coach.
Absolutely.
Baldwin guy, thickest Pittsburgh accent this side of Bill Cowher, telling this story about the Steelers. And the one day he's talking, and Pete Rozelle was the commissioner of the National Football League. And in the mid-'70s, when the Steelers had all their championships and all their glory, he approached Art Rooney Sr., the chief.
Yeah.
The chief with the cigar.
Yes,
okay?
Indeed.
And he said to the chief, you guys are so popular, so beloved. We want you to be America's team. We want you. This was before the Cowboys.
Oh,
we want you to be considered America's team. And the chief chomped on that cigar, pulled it out, and he goes, Pete, we're not America's team. We're Pittsburgh's team. You've never heard that?
No, this is my first time hearing this, DK.
Yeah. I guarantee you we've got some viewers who have seen this one.
Oh man. That's pretty cool.
It's goosebump and a half. The city of Pittsburgh, black and gold in its 200-year-old crest. Not for sports. They didn't have some marketing genius come up with the colors. The only city in the country or in Canada that has the same first name and the same set of colors for all three teams.
I do think that's unique. That's super
cool. It is.
Cool
It's literally unique. No one else has it.
Yeah. And when one sport is having a bad season, it's easy to see the other sport at that at their field with the jerseys on, because everything is everything in Pittsburgh, man.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
You can wear whatever you want.
Yeah, you really can, man. What's up, Frostbite? I see you in here also, man. This is cold-blooded, DK. You ready for this one?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna show you. Reserving 0 for Matt Canada.
Oh, it's just gonna keep going here.
It is, DK.
It's just keep going here. Yeah, see here, Tommy says that's why they turned down the America's team moniker. They did.
I didn't realize that.
The Cowboys can be America's team. We're Pittsburgh's team.
I did not realize that, man. Jeez. Wow. That's news to me. But I'll tell you this, Dallas has like really taken it and ran with it too, though. It's kind of weird.
Where's it gotten them?
5 Super Bowls, not 6.
No, but I mean in general.
That was me. That was me being a little evil right there, man. I had a question, so I wanted to ask on the on this side of it too, DK. When it comes down to jerseys on the fan side, how long or what round is an automatic buy for you? Like, do you wait a year, see if a guy is proven before you buy a jersey, or are you already pre-ordering Joey Porter Jr. and Broderick Jones numbers? Like, I know lineman numbers are usually on the latter end of those things, DK. Should there be a rule for it or no?
Well, a rule? You mean like obviously an unwritten rule?
But mine personally would be this. I need to see you do it first, unless like I really know you're going to be that dude. Yeah. Like I can imagine the amount of jerseys people have that are walking up and down, Pittsburgh on game day, and you're like, who was that number? Other than family members and close friends. Like, is there a timeline on when you can get a jersey?
I would say that it varies by position, Moan, with all due respect, because I'm sitting here in a shop where we sell stuff, and up there on the windowsill facing Fifth Avenue, we have baskets of Kenny Pickett socks, okay? They move like candy.
Do they really?
Okay. Now, if I put Broderick Jones socks up there.
Don't do me like this.
I just did.
Don't do me like this, man. Don't say the offensive linemen don't sell like that. See, this is why we got to do crazy stuff on the fields. This is why we got to do crazy stuff. This is why. Because we don't get any notice. Our names only call whenever we get penalties or whenever we're down on the ground injured. Like, those are the only 2 times. We have no stats, DK. Like, you, as my partner in this thing, you should be a little bit better than this, okay, DK?
No,
I expected more. I expected more. I really did.
I'm not above it. I'm happy to say that Casey Kester has come across from Facebook. Casey was one of our main guys, excuse me, on Facebook. We're now just on YouTube, everybody.
Yeah.
And Casey came across, and happy to see him. Happy to see everybody that's made it over this way here. Rick says that KP8 was best-selling jersey last year.
So what, DK?
You know, then there's George. Now, George Pickens might have been
those
a better
out
example.
there.
George was a better example.
George Pickens?
Well, yeah, because you did want to see.
Yeah.
Okay, like Kenny, he already had, especially here in the city, he had the brand, he had all that stuff going for him. With what he had done in college. This is a little different,
Thank you for that one. Heck yeah, man. DK, man, geez, dog. My socks will sell out before Kenny's would. You doggone right, because I'll make it a competition.
You'd be selling a larger size sock than Kenny would. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, no doubt. I see comments talking about Simone is wounded. I am, man. I expected better when we talk about offensive linemen on this show. It's all good though, man.
It's all right. Hey, you know what? When we come back, all of this will have been rendered moot because we will be encountering the only segment that matters.
That's all of Hey Moan, baby.
Mm-hmm.
At DK Pittsburgh Sports, we take pride in coverage that connects our city's fans to their favorite teams. Now, that connection's stronger than ever. Introducing our all-new state-of-the-art app. Find expert inside reporting and original podcasts. Check live box scores. Track the latest stats. Chat it up with our community of thousands of fans, all in one place. The new app from DK Pittsburgh Sports. Coverage that connects.
We are back on the Ramon Foster Show, and already the controversy has begun. That Hodge comes in and says, "Are you saying that KP has small feet?" No, he's had enough of a small hands crisis. We don't need to be sticking him with small feet.
And what did you even notice from that last year? Nothing.
The small feet or the small hands?
The hands conversation that was circling the draft, right? Remember that?
Yeah, no, nothing at all. I mean, there wasn't any mishandling. There wasn't any issue with gripping the ball in weather and whatever else here. We're starting to pile up here a little bit.
Yeah,
on poor Kenny and his small feet, which would lead me to believe that it's a pretty decent time to remind people.
Yeah,
that at the Get-Go Cafe and Market, quality is at the core of every menu item. They have 3 expert chefs, Moan.
3 of them.
These guys, they don't even care what their numbers are.
No, they don't.
They have the same. It just says Get-Go on the front and Get-Go on the back. They're total team players.
Absolutely.
Ensuring that every sub, burger, salad, wrap, drink, and app is crafted for craveability. Order your favorite entry at the Get-Go Cafe and Market today. Better believe it. We joke about this, but the stuff is actually very, very good.
It is. Absolutely. It is, DK.
And fresh and made right in front of you. You just can't believe that you're getting it at what most people think of as a gas station here. Kevin gets us started today. He says, "Hey, Moan," without the little "Hey, Moan" emoji.
Yeah,
but okay, have a "Hey, Moan" emoji now. "Hey, Moan, linemen make the team go. And go get your shirt when they're starting."
That's what I'm telling you. We'll have to get them some merch.
There are a lot of lineman jerseys, Moan.
There are. No, seriously, there are, man. And the fact that somebody had mine personally made because mine wasn't readily available on the shelves, like, I'm forever appreciative of it. But it is like that. Like, you have the ability to go get those. And I'll say this too: if this group does somewhat form a name, as far as who they are, we were the Goon Squad. It'd be good to see them kind of have some merch around Pittsburgh. I'm sure somebody's going to do it if they actually become an item on that front 5 of that starting line, DK. It's going to be very interesting this fall and spring with the reports coming out, who's working where. And, does Dan Moore start off with the ones? That's going to be the biggest eagle eye in the sky right there, DK.
Yeah, that and the corners, and man, there's a lot going on for sure.
And this too, man. Joey Porter Jr., like the conversation of him being grabby, whatever that's supposed to mean. I'll tell you this, if that's the case, and we spoke about this earlier, that video that came out on him getting better, like certain stuff that you will let slide, I bet you he won't let that slide anymore. He's going to try to be a big lockdown cornerback in today's NFL. I can't wait to see this guy growth, man.
Cam comes in with, hey, Moan, at what point in training camp do you start to feel like, okay, we're getting somewhere here, as in the team's cohesiveness and ability to run your offense properly against your defense?
I'll tell you this, it doggone sure ain't the first week. That first week is pure hell. Do you hear me?
It's hell to watch, too.
And because there's so many like pre-snap issues that happen with the young guys that get intertwined, guys resting and stuff like that. Also, week 2, it usually starts off defense, jumps out quick. Then the offense kind of gains a little bit. It's honestly around week 3, probably after the first preseason game is when you start to see, okay, now we're catching our groove. This guy's going to be there. We know what this guy's able to do on the field when it comes down to like small skill guys. Our running game, we're catching on a little bit with this. It's about 3 weeks in. It does take some time. And I'll tell you this too. It is frustrating to really try to crack through how good of a team you're going to be in that little timeline of like the first 2 weeks. It does get frustrating, but it's about 3 weeks in, right around the time where you break after camp.
Brent Haynes comes in and says, hey, Moan, going back to a topic that you brought up yesterday, did anyone get cut in your belief for being, let's say, a drama queen or for always starting stuff? Did anyone ever get thrown out for being the troublemaker?
If it was going to be me.
Get out of here.
Nah, in a way of like, I wasn't an instigator. I was just always trying to keep the crowd, the guys going. It was never met with any malice on the type of stuff that I did. I was more of a jokester. Nobody in our room operated like that or inside of the building. That's one thing I could say. I've heard of people having bad teammates like cancers, right? And I know it's worth to see some comments. It's probably going to come out, well, AB, nah. AB wasn't a cancer to what we had going on. It never came inside of the building the way you guys saw it on social media. Some of the stuff that came around that we saw it at the same exact time that you guys did. So we've never had a locker room issue. Like I said yesterday, I'm not there, but from my understanding and the reports around it, I don't think Chase Claypool was a heartthrob when it came down to where he stood with certain teammates and just inside of that room. Like Juju and his TikTok wasn't an issue. He was respectful enough to not do it around the guys that didn't want to see it. Like all the stuff that you mentioned is not an issue inside of the room. Coach Tomlin does a really good job of saying, hey, we're in here to play football. Anytime you saw TikTok stuff, it was probably after practice and, on free time.
Brent Haynes, by the way, who just had a question answered here, 20 more gift memberships from him.
Brent, you're far too kind, brother.
Yeah, this guy's he's a big part of what we are. Really good question here. Hey, Moan, is Dan Moore a threat to Chooks at right tackle? Chooks Okorafor, of course.
Man, this is interesting because I think about the business side a lot, right? DK. Chooks, he does come up soon with this contract. That is a real thing. The one thing that you do have is a guy that may be suited to move over to the right side. Now, again, I'll say this when it comes down to Chooks. I don't think Chooks is looking to give that up anytime soon, man. He's a guy that fully understands what's in front of him and also what he can capitalize on, meaning a contract extension. Dan Moore, if he loses this job, one, he'll have to fight himself out of getting out of that tank of losing a position. But he'll probably end up being depth until something comes open to him. I don't know how it's going to shake out, but a threat directly to Chooks, I'm not going that route.
The one circumstance that arises from this I see as being a definite is that Dan Moore has to play both tackle positions. He just does. He just does.
Wow.
I mean, he has to make himself flexible enough to be able to play both tackle positions to assure his future in the NFL.
That's fair. I just never seen a day one rookie starter, DK, end up on the back burner so soon. Now, I'm not saying this isn't I just hadn't personally seen it.
They shouldn't have been it.
It's going to be fascinating to really watch how they navigate these waters with Dan Moore moving forward. You're 100% correct. His valuation is the more you can do now moving forward.
I mean, I just saw Kendrick Green out on the street over here selling hot dogs. Okay. And he was your literal day one of camp.
That's true.
Starter with Marquise's numbers. Speaking of jersey numbers today.
Okay, but Kendrick Green's situation was that bad because we saw it be that bad on the film.
Yeah.
Now the question I have, and we'll probably have to go through this film again, DK, is this: did Dan Moore really end the season good? You know what I'm saying? Like, can you build off of that, or was it too little, too late when you're trying to really compete for a Super Bowl, as Omar said?
Leo wants to know who Rosie is. Rosie.
Don't you dare disrespect my day one like that, Leo.
Well, in fairness, not everyone called him Rosie. Okay. His name's Roosevelt Nix. He was a fullback for the Steelers, a special team standout and well, okay. But that's,
I know. I'm being a little facetious.
We're catching him. We're catching up, Leo, here. There's new fans to the team and new fans to the show all the time.
It is.
I guarantee you will value what the man has to say, because I'm going to repeat this. There's putting your body on the line, and then there's doing what Rosie did.
Yeah. And we'll say this too. Rosie was a defensive player before he was anything offensive too. He made himself into a fullback. So we'll have him on tomorrow, man. It's going to be a really good conversation with him, because if I know Rosie like I know, you're going to get some laughter. You're going to get some truth. You're going to get some dark moments that we talk about, and some reality checks too of the game. Him getting cut, I still couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe Roosevelt got released.
Luke Spinola comes in with, hey, Moan. Boy, this is good too. I've heard Broderick Jones is a little iffy with his run block game, and sometimes he has habits of putting his head down, and he'll occasionally have poor hand placement. Are these easy fixes for a rookie NFL lineman?
Really good question, Luke. Yes, they are. I won't call them easy. It's going to take a lot of reps. If somebody say, like, I've heard basketball players, like, it take 10,000 shots before you become automatic, or whatever it is, the cliche that they use. It is fixable. Ducking your head, I'll tell you this, in the NFL, if you duck your head, you will be embarrassed so bad that you'll never want to do that again. Like, a portion of this now for the young Broderick Jones, he has to realize this is a job now, and your performance isn't scholarship based. It is money based. Okay, that isn't that. We play a game inside of a business. It's fixable. It's reps. It's being conscious about it. It's one day at a time, saying, keep my head out. Keep my head out. Don't lean. Keep my hands tight. The thing I'll say about his hands is this: I've noticed them. They get a little wide, but he's so friggin' athletic that he kind of makes up for certain stuff. Like that's
actually the only point that I was going to chime in is that I keep seeing, hearing, and reading critiques of this or that about Jones, and most of them had to do actually, Sean, that with the pass blocking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because pass blocking is way more technique oriented than, just lining up and bulldozing somebody. And he gave up no sacks. Okay. In 450 plus snaps, he had no holding penalties, and he had one false start.
This is God.
I don't really care that much what his problems are if those are his results.
This is the pro tip too. Just because a guy gets you around the edge and the quarterback's able to step up doesn't mean that that's a bad play. Like the guards and center up the middle, they are paid also to keep the pocket integrity. If you run somebody around 8-9 yards around the quarterback, that's a win. I know PFF puts that as a pressure and all those types of things, but if that quarterback can step up and deliver the ball, that's a dub for the tackle, and he has a lot of those on tape.
Swan wants to know if Cam Hayward will want to mentor Keanu Benton.
Cam has no choice. He will mentor him, because his success of Keanu Benton means more for Cam. Think about if you can have somebody that takes a double team. Cam against tackles or a tight end combo, that's a win. Oh, my gosh. You want to talk about stuff in the run. Keanu Benton himself better listen to everything Cam Hayward has to say to him.
Yeah, that's one thing to remember about mentoring. It's not all just the intangible, warm and fuzzy and whatever else here. If you want to know how much Cam would want to benefit from good players next to him, just think back to Minneapolis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, remember that Cam was the tourniquet.
Yeah, he was.
Everywhere the Vikings were running, all the solution was to just say, well, move 97 there. Okay, well, then move 97 over here. It was embarrassing upon embarrassing. Cam doesn't want that. He just wants to play his position.
The one guy that's benefited from having a good defense around him, man, is Cam Jordan with the Saints. They've had a monstrous D-line, so much so that some of the starters have gone to other places and got paid. But the thing he can do is line up with freedom because they have a good defensive front. Now, the rest of their defense, okay, it's up for question, but Cam Jordan's having a Hall of Fame career down in New Orleans because he has a really good supporting cast that allows him to get off.
Speaking of getting off, Guillermo, I know you like the transition?
Oh, my God.
Guillermo Rodriguez comes in with the hey moan of the century.
Beautiful.
You can do this one, Moan. It's just too good.
Hey, Mo. That's the way he said it. That was beautiful right there.
I like that one, Guillermo.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we have here from everybody. CTD says, how many fingers am I holding up? Wrong. I don't get it.
I have no idea. I got a good one right here, man. From my guy Twiz. You posted him earlier, man. He goes, hey, Mo. It's the hardest thing for an offensive lineman to do is reach block. It looks like if you can't secure a reach block, the play likely ends up in a disaster. No, to me, if you're going front side reaching a guy, meaning if I'm on the left side and you would go 25, that's usually the easier one because you can reach them and kind of push them by. The only way you lose a reach block if a guy has a called stunt defensively and he goes under you and is athletic enough to be in the backfield. But that also comes down to technique. Shuffle reach is what we used to do sometimes, unless it was a full zone. The hardest block, honestly, is that cutoff block. A right guard going to the left with the shade on the center. You want to talk about because you're going to your weak side for the most part and you're going away from the play. You getting pushed back is a whole lot more likely on a cutoff block than it is on a reach block. And this was our thing too. We had a code about ourselves a little bit. We didn't want to cut guys because with Marquise having his ankle issues and stuff like that, diving around guys' feet just to go cut somebody off was a bad look. If I miss and hits the back of his ankles, or if Gil would miss and hit the back of the Castro ankles, like we took pride in that. Plus, it's that whole chop block scenario too. You're playing with fire a little bit on that play.
We have so much good stuff here. Jim Fairfield says, does Larry Ogunjobi go to defensive end? I mean, Larry's an interior lineman.
He's a hybrid, really.
Yeah, Larry's going to play. He's going to play a Larry position. It's not,
Yeah.
One thing you have to remember about defensive line, because everyone thinks to themselves, 3-4 defense. Okay, well, they're just going to go out there with 3 down guys and 4 linebackers. And they just very rarely do anymore.
Right.
I want to say that something like 60+%
the
Steelers defensive snaps are sub packages.
Yeah, they're sub packages. Unique bodies that can get after the quarterback and good enough to stop the run. That's what Larry O is, man, to this team. Mm-hmm. So he's a 3-tech that can play DN also in a 4-3 scheme.
Paulie wants to know, hey, Moan, is the first time the draft picks are allowed to the facility at the rookie mini camp?
For the most part, that's when you see them because of timing of schedules and whatnot. And this is also the other side of it too, man, Paul, is the theatrics of the NFL rookies reporting. They usually have a date the following week or no longer than like 10 days after the draft.
2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah. They're going to get those visuals, okay, for sure.
They want the visuals. They're also going to be on the field for a couple days. And you're going to see it's rookie mini camp. It's a Mother's Day weekend. And it's a chance for them to go out. And Paulie, I think this is what you're looking for. They're putting on a uniform.
Yeah.
Okay. Now it's not game uniforms; it's practice uniforms and everything else here.
And it's tryouts in that group too.
They're in that locker room. Yeah, they bring in all the UDFAs. It's not like they just bring in the 7 guys they picked in the draft. It's a good number of people who are in there. You will not see any, and I mean any, veterans of any kind partaking in this. It's not like if Kenny comes down and says, I want to throw some passes, Kenny, no, man, get out of here.
No, get up out of here. We're good. Yeah, no. I honestly don't think he can be out there for rookie minicamp. Camp. I think he played too much time. Like, we had dudes who were like 3 years in the league that weren't on roster that could still do rookie minicamp. There's a timeline to it.
No, I was being facetious.
Oh, okay.
He's absolutely no. Brian, I mean, like, he's just hanging around. Brian says, hey, Moan, does DeMarvin Leal have the ability to move to edge? I'm not sure where it is that he fits. I don't think they are either. No,
to me, he's a 3 technique / type 4I. You putting him in with Larry O, with Cam, with TJ, probably in a 3rd and 2 situation where he can get after the quarterback, but he's big enough to stop the run. That's where I kind of see a guy like DeMarvin Leal playing. Like, roles are really defined for the most part in this league. You don't put a guy outside on the edge with the idea that he's going to do something he never has before. No, it's pretty thought out.
Perk wants to know, DK, what's a better feeling for you in the city, winning the Cup or winning the Super Bowl? Here's the thing, Perk, we don't have to wonder, because in 2009, won them both in rapid succession, and right here in downtown Pittsburgh, over there on the Boulevard of the Allies, the parades were virtually identical with crowd size, 250,000 people lining the parking garages and sidewalks and everything else. Even similar approaches. Troy Polamalu was doing the mosh pit thing where he would let himself off the stage. It's very similar to what Sidney Crosby and Jordan Stahl from the Penguins were doing. For people who are not in Pittsburgh, they can't appreciate how popular and beloved the Penguins are in this town. It's really, really tight. But again, it's also same first name, same set of colors. They are Pittsburgh teams.
It's a winning city though, right, DK?
Well, you can't argue with 16 total championships between your 3 teams.
Yeah.
You know, that's for sure. And people don't accept anything less. But man, when you come through in the city of Pittsburgh, you will know it.
We're due soon, man. However it has to come about, we're due for one of those Super Bowls, DK. And I'll say this again. I know it's probably like a beaten drum, man, beating a dead horse, but getting O-line and D-line has been crucial to that next step. And I'd almost say this. It'd be awesome to have an undrafted guy be one of those roster dudes you just find a hidden gem in, right?
Found gold. That's all that is.
That's what I'm looking for.
You're walking down the sidewalk and you see $100 bill in front of you.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for out of that group this year. We'll have to break them down in some capacity too. I hadn't taken a deep dive into the undrafted free agents, but I owe that service to them, being that I was an undrafted free agent, DK.
Mm-hmm. Woods brings up that the Pirates are winning now too. Yes, the Pirates are tied for the best record in the National League. And Moan, take this in the right spirit. If the Pirates were to win, that hits in a different place entirely in this city. Franchise that's been here for 142 years with 42 Hall of Famers and who have completely sucked for the better part of 40 years. That hits somewhere very, very different here. Mr. Wires just says, because he couldn't resist.
I love it.
Imagine being a Browns fan. How depressing. And he does this without the new Browns emoji that we conveniently offer to people.
Yeah, it wasn't showing up today. We'll put it back on there. By the way, I saw somebody ask how to join. How much is it to join? It's 99 cents if you want to join the membership for the emojis. And we'll be adding to that too, right, DK, the exclusivity of it?
Oh, yeah, there's content that we're going to add. There's going to be exclusive stuff, sessions that we'll have. Currently, if you go on there, you get 50% off a subscription to our website, to dkpittsburghsports.com. Which is a pretty nice deal. It's a $30 value if you go in and take advantage of it here. Tommy wants to know where the poop emoji went. I mean, Browns. Is it out? She says I told her to take it. Yeah, I did, because it just didn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense.
Okay, all right.
But it looks like we were Browns people, you know? It's you know.
No, it was just us crapping on the Browns. That's all it was. I thought it was good.
You know, we're going to come up with some crafty new emojis along the way here. Chris Davis has an actual football thing. Wants to know how we feel about Jaylen Warren. Is he more of a solid 2, or could he beat Najee? No, he's not beating Najee out.
Chris, beautiful question. Najee is Najee, man. It'd be different if we were going into what year is this for Najee? 3?
Mm-hmm.
It'd be different if we were going into year 5, right? And you got to kind of say, yeah, they're going to decide on him, at his 5th-year option. He's a first rounder. Don't get bored with Najee. That's the next thing I would tell you too. Don't get bored with him, man, because he is unique. I think he frees up stuff for Jaylen Warren. Like that bang operation that you have, just appreciate it. Like him taking over his reps, I just think it's out of this world unless Najee just can't find the hole. Like this dude's already a Pro Bowl, alternate or not. He still has that underneath his belt as far as Najee goes. My thing would be this: get both of them to the Pro Bowl. Like, because Jaylen Warren is very unique, man, in his running style. If he continues that streak of not fumbling the ball, too, DK, remember?
Yes, that's a big deal. And by the way, it's also in the reverse. It's still a concern where Warren is concerned. I would say that everyone should bear in mind that at this draft, all these various draft sessions that we were covering over the weekend on the South Side, Matt Canada and Mike Tomlin both made crystal clear why we're doing this, meaning why Broderick Jones, why Darnell Washington. Their aim is to run the football. They will run the football. And if they run it like they did in the last 9 games of last season in which they went 7-2, that buys so much, really everything, but latitude, freedom, create space for creativity to Kenny Pickett and the wide receivers, and it's the right thing to do.
It works like this: the run game opened up the passing game until you have to use the passing game to soften up the box for when your running game is just that good. That seesaw effect of being able to do both. Oh my Lord! Like legitimately, you can't have a better system. Like I told you guys before when we looked at this class, I think on Saturday, is this. Our team has been like this for years lately. The defense will be up here, offense down here. Oh, then the offense gets up here. You want those two to meet in the middle with the right mix of old and young, with the idea that they're all mature enough to handle those big games, being down 10 points and having to come back in the late 3rd and 4th quarter. Like that's what you're looking for right there, man. So I'm excited for where this team is, and you're 100% correct, DK. The competition aspect and being able to run the ball and have a whole lot of big boys, yeah, that's where we're headed right now, it seems.
2 more today. The first comes from Brian Jonker, who says, "Hey, Moan, is there a benefit to being a UDFA undrafted free agent rather than getting drafted in the 7th round?"
Yeah, it is, because you can be drafted to the wrong system. Especially later in the draft, they just start picking guys off the board. From my understanding, I'd love to be in that room with them, see how it works some, but that's the way I've best available, the guy you just really like.
They don't even put any thought into it.
Or even a local guy. Think about that. Even like AQ Shipley.
Or a scout's son. Scout's son
in Dallas. Like, you see what I'm saying? So there's a lot of that goes on later. I was able to pick a scheme that would benefit me in Pittsburgh, being an undrafted. I would have loved that signing bonus, DK, but I got it back on the back end, man. So, yeah, there's a lot of benefits to being an undrafted guy.
Yeah, you beat that UDFA signing bonus pretty good the rest of the way.
Never forget, man. I was out here struggling.
Matt Hanford finishes us off today here. From England, he says, "Hey, Moan," but I can't do it in a British accent.
I don't have that one either, man.
Hey, Moan.
Moan. Yeah, I like it.
Did you ever see rookies struggle with the transition from A-list college stud / hometown draft success story to the bottom of the pecking order at training camp? Matt, this is so good. There's these anonymous dudes who traipse around St. Vincent College every summer. I actually will occasionally remind myself that they were BMOC at one point, big man on campus for you British types. And it's like they show up there and they're just nobody. They're less than nobody.
You are. Have I seen guys struggle with it? Yeah, until you realize I can play ball. The ones that continue to struggle with it end up out of camp too. Like everybody has that aha moment from the first rounders too. You think you know, you have no idea. I've seen first round corners get laughed at by Ben. You know what I'm saying? I've seen AB, hey, young fella, come over here and let me give you this work. Like I've had defensive linemen like, oh Lord, it's going to be a long day for you. You know what I'm saying? Because you just know so much. The struggle aspect of it is you're supposed to struggle in this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like to point out Sauce Gardner just because he just came out so hot. All pro, if I'm not mistaken, in his rookie year. Like, even he, I'm sure, has some issues and some deficiencies in it. But this is the thing about it, too. The thing that separates people that make it and don't is in between the ears. The mental. Knowing that I can get beat, but I got tomorrow. Oh, you got me today, but I'm going to see you tomorrow. Oh, I beat you today. And I know you're going to want to get some get back tomorrow. The ones that can't handle that big fish or, going to a smaller pond now, they ain't cut out for it anyway. And I hate to say that, but that's the reality of it because why, DK? It's only 53 that's selected plus 10.
That's it. That's it. And the plus 10, I mean, you're happy to make the plus 10 versus not making anything at all, being the practice squad, of course, but still it's a very, very tough. And the other thing about football, by the way, that's so sobering for these people and so scary is that unlike baseball, unlike hockey, unlike basketball, you got nowhere to go.
Nowhere to go.
If there's not some alternate league. Don't talk to me about the CFL because they have the Canadian requirement for X number of players have to be actual Canadians. It's scary. You're thinking I got to go find an office job now.
No, you're gonna talk to somebody tomorrow, Roosevelt Nix. Like that's got some very unique stories about like Rosie was, I ain't gonna steal his thunder, but one of them that he said publicly, Rosie went and became a substitute teacher. There is no other place for you to go when you don't make it. So when guys realize, oh man, they just cut 10 dudes, the third week of camp. And then they realize they not where they supposed to be. Like, no, you better cut your eyelids off, as Coach Tomlin like to say, and focus on being the better you each and every day. The struggle is a part of it. And that's the thing. Nobody respects you in the NFL. You got to go earn that regardless, like first round or not. That's the reason they end up changing the rookie pay scale, right, DK?
It sure is. It sure is. Well, let's bring it up with Rosie tomorrow. You got Roosevelt Nix, same time as usual, 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central. It should be a terrific talk. I'm looking forward to watching it myself.
Yeah.
And that's all we got for today.
It is. I'm writing down notes right now. Y'all tweet me what y'all want to talk about with Rosie. I promise you, it is a very unique story, and you're going to hear some of what he has to say with being cut and wondering what's next for you as a young guy.
Good stuff. Let's do it tomorrow, everybody.
Yeah. See you.
Bye-bye.
You be okay with this one?
Wow. What is that?
It's like this ghost alternative look they did a few years back. I ended up taking one of these from the pro shop.
See, if the Steelers ended up moving to the CFL someday, that's the helmet. Yeah. Go up there, wear all snowy outfits and everything.
That's cool, isn't it?
I was going to give you one more. Rosie Nix tomorrow, everybody. Bye-bye.
Yes, indeed.